In Mahabharata, the five Pandava brothers were forced to leave their kingdom and live in forest for 14 years. We all know this story. The elder one, Yudhishthir, one day felt very thirsty and asked his younger brother to fetch some water. So the youngest of the lot goes to a nearby pond and tries to get the water. And he hears a sound, a voice. The voice says, "This pond belongs to me, don't get in." Right? If you get into the pond without my permission, you will die. So he, being a prince and with all this haughtiness, he gets into the water and he immediately dies. So looking for his younger one, the next one goes, and after that Bhima, Arjuna and Bhima, all the four brothers go there, and all of them die facing the same fate. And finally, it is Yudhishthira's turn, and he goes there and he hears the same voice. He looks around and able to see a crane perching on a small boulder over there, and the crane is speaking. "See, I am Yaksha. I am in this life as a crane, and this pond belongs to me. You cannot enter into my pond or take water from my pond without my permission." So Yudhishthira asks, "What's the deal?" So I have few questions. If you can answer my questions, then I can let you have you drink from this particular pond. So those are called Yaksha Prashnas. So if somebody is asking you questions which don't have a proper answer, we use that particular phrase. Finally, Yudhishthira answers all the questions, and the last one is pretty interesting one. So this Yaksha, in the form of a crane, he asks, "What do you think about human race that fascinates you? I mean, which aspect or which behavior of humans fascinates you? I mean, you are overwhelmed, or certain yes, a trait which is like mind-boggling." For that, Yudhishthira answers like this. So human beings, they hear of the news of death every day, right? In some form or the other form, either in their place or somewhere in the world, they know death is for certain and everyone has to die. But every human being thinks that the death comes visiting their neighbor or somebody in their relatives or some other person, but not him. He lives as if he is going to live forever. I mean, this particular, though it is quite evident on the face, but the human behavior is, this particular human behavior is what fascinates me. Welcome everyone. My name is Dr. Suresh. I am a medical doctor, and welcome to this 5 days training on holistic diabetes reversal program. Okay, why I like this story? And being a medical doctor, I believe in healing people and making them come out of their diseases. Okay, but if you look at the kind of diseases that we are suffering with nowadays are called lifestyle diseases. Okay, they are called lifestyle diseases for a reason, and the reason for that is just like how Yudhishthira explained to the crane or the Yaksha in the form of crane. We all live in that particular denial, right? We see so many people suffering with diabetes, arthritis, hypothyroidism, obesity, heart disease, autoimmune disorders like rheumatoid arthritis, all these conditions, gastritis, irritable bowel syndrome, so many, all of them are called lifestyle diseases. But we think that all these diseases are for others. I am not going to be affected by these diseases, right? Even if we are affected, since we are not experiencing any complications, we think that, okay, for them, they might have a kidney failure. For them, they might have gone through an amputation, but I am going to be, my eyesight is still intact and my kidneys are functioning. So this is the thought process, right? If we can change that denial and start accepting the fact, right, and see and have the courage to call a spade, right, then our journey towards this diabetes reversal program, or for that matter any kind of lifestyle disease reversal, is possible. Okay, now why this denial is being a cause, right? If you look at the amazing potential of human body and understand how it is made and how it functions and how it is protecting itself both from external threat and internal threat, how the system is built, on which operating system it is using. If we have the proper understanding and if we understand the potential that we possess as a human body, then we can easily prevent ourselves. So first let us try to understand what is human body, what is it is made up of, right? So if you look at the structure of human body, that means how it is made. To make our body, what we need our nutrition, food. If you are eating healthy, if you are eating proteinous food rich in micronutrients and rest of the other nutrients, we are well built, right? It is self-explanatory. If somebody is not eating, they are lean and emaciated. And the body runs on the fuel, right? If the body is to function, right? For that, we need energy or fuel. Let's call this as fuel. Where is this coming from? This is again coming from the food we eat. To protect ourselves from any kind of sickness, we need a strong immune system. Okay. This immune system again depends upon the kind of food we are consuming on day-to-day basis. So just last 1 year, we all experienced the importance of having healthy diet or nutritious food. So many people advised us to take these kind of concoctions, vitamin supplements, mineral supplements. I mean, people have been taking zinc tablets, multivitamin tablets, vitamin C, vitamin E, all of them. What are they doing? They are strengthening our immune system. And God forbid, if somebody is affected with any kind of sickness, right, whether it is lifestyle disease or infectious disease, right, some kind of chronic condition where the patient is bedridden. So that repair and regeneration, right, repair and regeneration again depends upon the kind of food we consume, right? So as a human body, we keep doing all these functions on a second to second basis. All of them, they depend upon the kind of food. If this is you, let's say this is your body and it is made up of the food that you are eating. So if you are made up of the food you eat and we don't know after how long, finally we end up in having some kind of sickness, right? We don't know. Earlier when we were studying medicine in late 90s, we never did a diabetes test for patients who are in their 30s or 20s, or not even 40s, right? We used to test for diabetes only for people who are 50, 55 and above, right? We hardly used to do any random blood sugar or fasting blood sugar. Okay, but now if you look at the present condition, we are forced to do diabetes as a screening biochemical test for everyone who is going to a doctor, any kind of sickness, right? We have to do it. It has become so routine. So in those days, people used to suffer with this diabetes very late. Now the diabetes has become very, very young. I mean, even kids, they are having. So most of the kids, they confuse if a kid is diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 15 and 16, people think that it is type 1. No, it is not. Type 1 is inherent lack of production of insulin. Okay, so since the birth of the baby, they are lacking in the production of insulin. It will not take for body to 15 years to manifest its effects. It will be shown immediately. By the time they are 3 or 4 or 5, it gets diagnosed, right? So that means if somebody who is as young as 13, 14, 15, they are also having this abnormal sugars. That means we don't know this body is becoming, right? If this food, A is our food, it is making our body B, and this body is becoming sick. A is food and B is our body, and it is making, after few years, it is making us sick. So how many of you here can confidently say, placing your hand on your heart and say, I am not going to get diabetes in my life, or for that matter hypertension or dyslipidemia, that means cholesterol problems or heart problems or arthritis? How many of you can say that? We don't know, right? So we'll come to know the reason for that very in a short span of time. So this is becoming sickness. Now, if you take the formula that A equals B and B equals C, this is A equals B equals C. This is sickness. This is food. And this is our body. Right? Then A should equal C. That means the body is becoming sick. Right? So now try to understand this. If our food, our breakfast, our lunch, our evening snacks, and our dinner is making us sick over a period of time. Purnayush is a Sanskrit term which means that a man can live happily without any sickness, right? Fully functioning body up to the age of 120 years. That's there in our Indian culture. Okay, it is possible. The body is designed that way, right? There is a wonderful movie called A Man from the Earth. Okay, we'll give the link for that movie, IMDb link in the description as well. So in that, what he says is, human body, if we give right kind of nourishment to it, right kind of water, detoxify it time to time, give unadulterated food, quality nutrients, right? It has the ability to regenerate itself perpetually, right? So living for 100 years without sickness is not a distant dream or a utopian wish. No, it is possible. But unfortunately, it is our food choices. Every day we are making choices about what breakfast to have and what to have in our lunch, when to have our lunch, and what kind of snacks to eat, and at what time we are taking dinner. Every day you are making 4 major decisions about your health, right? And coupled with your lifestyle, your working environment, the kind of lifestyle you have in your family, domestic life, right, your financial, all these things finally making you sick even at the age of 30, 40, 50, right? We don't know. So to put it bluntly, right, so if our food is making us sick, we as a country, we as a society don't even know how to eat our food. Now, the important question, how many of you have been to a barber or a beautician, right? So most of us do. When we have to go to a barber on a monthly basis, right? Regularly we have to cut our hair, and most of the women nowadays, they go to their beauty parlors for one thing or the other thing. Now, honestly speaking, how many of you have actually gone to a qualified dietitian, paid her consultation fee or his consultation fee, took their time and discussed about your food? Because the food is what is making you, either whether to keep you healthy or make you sick. It is the food that is deciding your body, its functionality, and the fuel level, the immunity, and the repairing capacity. But how many of us actually did that? Okay, many of us think that doing regular health checkups is prevention. No, regular health checkups is a snapshot. Where do you stand? Are you sick or not? It is a test, right? It is not prevention. Okay, so after doing the test, if you are at risk, what kind of measures you have taken to keep yourself in a healthy range? So blood tests are important, but they are not a preventive tool. Okay, it is not. Don't think that I am getting myself checked every year annually. No. So you did your annuals last year and you did this year. What did you do in between to improve your health? That thing is called prevention. Okay. And most of us think that just because I have health insurance, right? Does health insurance prevent you from any kind of sickness? No, it doesn't. Because every day we are creating our body. Every day, either we are nourishing our body or abusing our body with the choices we make, either consciously or unconsciously, either out of knowledge or out of our ignorance. Okay. Now, coming back to the barber story and the dietitian. So, this body is not our priority. This is our priority. Now, look at the health state of our country, right? So, I feel, my heart feels very warm and happy when I look at the kind of achievements that we did as a nation, right? So, you look at the space missions that we take up, right? India is like on par with one of the best countries, right? Most developed nations in the world. And if you look at our IT sector, our pharma industry, they have achieved so many things, right? Even with Covaxin and all these things, the kind of innovations and the kind of developments and the kind of achievements we could do is like phenomenal. Even IT industry, I mean, the Google is run by our Indian and Microsoft is run by our Indian, right? Look at the talent pool that we have when it comes to IT. But if you ask me as a healthcare professional or a healthcare manager, what did we do, right? What did we do as a community? India is called, right, is mocked as diabetes capital of the world. Unfortunately, Hyderabad is like capital for heart procedures, right? I mean, there is a positive end to it, there is a negative end to it. We have so many specialists who are specialized and saving lives. That's fine. But all of them are preventable. Okay? And the IT industry, which is booming, is becoming sick by day. I mean, we are doing heart procedures for IT people who are just 30 years old, 35 years old. Okay? That is very unfortunate. So, in short, we as a nation is one of the sickest nation. Just show me one family, right? A one full-fledged family where like there is a man of the house, lady of the house with kids and grandparents, like a small nuclear family or semi-nuclear family, where no one is taking any kind of medicine for one chronic condition, either diabetes or obesity or hypothyroidism or hypertension or cholesterol or rheumatoid arthritis, whatnot, right? We all have mini pharmacies in our house. Okay, people are taking medicine on a regular basis, which is so unfortunate. If you are eating something on a regular basis, it is called food. Medicine is something which you take occasionally, but not on a regular basis. A disease needs to be cured, not managed. But the problem here is your doctor can contain the disease with a drug, but he cannot change your diet and he cannot eat for yourself. Okay, he is not able to change the kind of choices you make about your food and the choices you make whether to do exercise or not. Okay, the onus is on us. We are not doing our part of the agreement. So the doctor is saying that, okay, your sugars are not in control, I have to increase the dose to contain in another way, but there is a natural way. Your exercise, your diet, your lifestyle, your stress management, all these things are important, equally important, if not more, in controlling the diabetes. So our priorities are a bit skewed and we end up in contracting this particular kind of illness. Okay, and before going into the amazing potential of human body and what are all the things that it can achieve, let me tell you one thing. Most of the diabetics, why they become so callous about their health condition is because they are not experiencing any kind of physical pain or discomfort, right? Or it is not something like an emergency situation, life or death situation. So they take it so light. I mean, once you are diagnosed, after 2 to 3 years, we become so callous, right? We take it as a regular thing and just you have to take your medicine from time to time. That's it, you are sorted for good. That is because we don't have right kind of information and right kind of awareness of our body and how it functions. The whole idea of this program in these 5 days is to sensitize you and to give you the right kind of information which prepares you right? Intellectually and psycho-emotionally, to go on a path to reverse your diabetes. Don't expect any kind of miracles, right? Rome is not built in a Rome. So, but if you do it properly in a structured format under guidance, it is 100% possible to reverse diabetes. So, it was not considered as an option 5-7 years back, but so many people are successfully able to. I have been doing this job for last 18 years, right? Though I am a medical doctor, I choose to heal people with right kind of lifestyle interventions like diet, exercise, stress management, and lifestyle changes. Okay, now let's get to see what human body is, how does it work. And many of us, we believe that a human body grows, and the growth of human body stops at a certain age. Yes, you are right that after achieving a certain height, right, the so-called our optimal height, the body will stop growing longitudinally, right? But the growth doesn't stop. Okay, so, and what do I mean by doesn't stop? We all know RBC, right? And RBC are red blood corpuscles that are present in our blood, which gives red color to the blood. They carry oxygen from lungs and supply that oxygen to all the body cells. That is the function of RBC. Now, if at all you go and donate blood to someone, by the way, donating blood is a noble cause. Every healthy individual can donate. If it is not your habit yet, make it a habit. At least donate once in a year, twice in a year, if not thrice or 4 times. But make it a habit. It is healthy. It is a healthy practice. It is good for your health as well. So, if you go to donate blood to someone in a blood bank, they say that if you donated, within 3 months, they will not usually encourage you to donate blood. Why? Because RBC, they live for approximately 100 to 120 days. Let's say 100 days. How to read this? Let's say the RBC expiry date is 100 days, right? What does it mean? What does it mean? Every 100 days, you get new set of RBC in your body? No. Every day, 1/100th of the so-called RBC in our blood, right? They are recycled. So, recycled means HB will be again goes into the production of forming new RBC, and whatever other proteins are there, they are converted into bile and other biochemical substances which are useful for our body, and rest of it is like going out of the system. Okay, so it is recycled and new cells are replacing them. That means every day 1/100th of RBC. So how many RBC do we have in our body? So if you do the math, and given that 2.5 lakh per cc, we have 2.5 lakh per cc, you have 5.5 liters, approximately 5 to 5 liters of blood. So that comes to close to 24 to 25 trillion, right? Trillion is 1000 billion, and a billion is 1000 into million, right? And a million we know is like 1000 into 1000. Okay. Out of this 24 trillion, every day 1/100th of it, that means close to 24 to 50 billion RBCs are produced, right? Why I said instead of 25, 24. So every hour 240 billion per day by 24. So in an hour, you are producing 10 billion RBCs in our body, right? In an hour, 10 billion RBCs are being produced. Look at the kind of mass production our body is capable of. So body has this amazing capability of creation. Let's call, in our Indian culture, we call creation as something known as Srishti. So this aspect is there. How is it relevant? How does it help us in understanding? How does its understanding will help in diabetes reversal? So, are the RBC only cells in our body which has got an expiry date? No, right? Let's say, look at my hand. There is skin. Skin is made up of skin cells. They have an expiry date. Below that, there is muscle, and muscle cells, they have an expiry date. Below that, there is bone. Bone is made up of bone cells, right? So, since they are like all the cells are filled with solid calcium crystals and salts and solid stuff, it is a bit sturdy, right? Looks solid. So, all of them, they are being replaced. Every cell in our body comes with an expiry date. So, according to some radioisotopic studies, 99.98% of our body atoms are replaced in a year. That means every year we are getting a new body. Every year we are getting a new body. While concluding this lesson, I'll tell you, if we are getting new body every year, why we are becoming old, why the disease is persisting for years. So, with that, we'll conclude the session. For time being, let's get on with our topic, that the body is capable of renewing itself. So, body is not like a static wall, just like this wall. I mean, this bone is made of solid substance. Once it is made, right, it has a certain life cycle, and it will stay for few years, and after that it gets decayed. That in physics parlance is called entropy. Everything decays, right? Entropy is decaying. From orderliness it becomes disorder. That is like one of the principles of thermodynamics, if you remember your thermodynamics class, right? Now, second thing is, body maintains what is known as a balance, maintenance. That is capable of maintenance. Okay. So, what is maintenance? Say for example, if there is a small cut, and I go to a doctor, and doctor looks at the cut and says that it is not a deep wound, it doesn't require even stitches. Go to the nurse, and we go to the nurse. What does she do? So, the things she does are, she will give a TT shot, tetanus toxoid, an antibiotic, and a painkiller. Now, my question is, out of these three, TT, antibiotic, and painkiller, which of these three drugs is actually repairing your wound and getting back the new skin tissue? A, B, or C? The answer is D, none of the above. Tetanus toxoid and antibiotic, they create an environment where bacteria from outer environment is not getting inside and making is a septic wound, right? That is prevention, creating an atmosphere for the body to repair. And painkiller is painkiller. And who is repairing? Our body, right? So, maintaining the integrity of the cells or the structure of our body is inherent to our body, right? To understand this, let's take a small example. Okay, how does human life start? Human life starts with a single cell. All our life starts with a single cell. A spermatozoa and an egg from mother's ovary, they combine, form zygote, and this is a single cell. This cell divides into two, and these two cells become 4. 4 becomes 8, and in a matter of days it becomes a bunch of cells, right? A ball of cells. And one fine day, one of the cells says, I want to become heart, and it goes on becoming heart. And another one says, like group of cells, they go and become, we want to become brain. And another says, I want to become skin, and another says, I want to become kidney, right? So, you might have seen these dialysis units, right? What does they do? They are mechanized kidneys, okay? And they are not able to do the job of a healthy kidney, even a fraction of what a healthy kidney can do. But it is required, a mechanized system is required to take away the poisonous waste material that are accumulated in our blood. Because our kidneys failed, we are not able to send out poisonous waste from our blood. So we use a machine to send out. That's what dialysis is. The same kind of function is performed by a healthy kidney, and there are millions and millions of units that are called nephrons. Right? What kind of electrolytes to be kept in the body, and at what level, and how to filter out sugar and other nutrients to leak out into the urine, and all these things, and secreting certain kinds of hormones and other metabolites. So such kind of extraordinary intelligent systems, these nephrons are in numbers of millions. Even if you look at the cost of one dialysis machine, which is like hardly 0.00001% as efficient as one single nephron, and this is what a healthy kidney is. So where is this knowledge? From this bunch of cells, within 9 months, you have a full-fledged, totally functioning human baby body is made, and in few years becomes an adult, fully functioning, with an eye, with a nose, and with all the functions, brain and complex systems, right? Where the question is, where is this knowledge? Where is this intelligence to create all this? It is there in this one single cell, and is there in all the cells that makes up human body. So the rough estimate says 100 to 70 to 100 trillion cells are there in making a human body. The same DNA that is there in the single cell is there in all the trillion cells. Okay. Now we'll take an example to understand this concept. Imagine you are an architect. You built a huge structure, a wonderful building, and you know every nook and corner and every beam and every wall and every fixture that goes into the construction of that building. Now, if because of an accident, one of the walls and one particular section of the building is damaged, is like destroyed. Now these building owners, they have called you up because you are the architect, and they asked you to repair it. Now the question is, can you repair it or not? You are the one who designed it, and you are the one who designed the functionality of the building, and you have all the knowledge, and repair is a small part of it. Can you do the repairing work or not? Yes, we can do, right? Yes, as an architect you can repair. Similarly, if the body knows how to make a kidney, how to make a brain, how to make a skin, how to make a heart, how to make a pancreas, how to generate insulin, if there is something wrong with our pancreas, if something wrong with our insulin production, don't the body know how to repair it? Yes, it does. But the problem is, now again coming back to the architect. The architect took the money, went to the market and looked for cement. Cement is not available. Looked for sand. Sand is not available. Looked for steel and other materials. They are not available. Looked for manpower. They are not available. Right? He has got all the intelligence, all the knowledge, and all the money to buy the resources, but the resources, the raw material and the resources, human power is not available to him. Now can he repair that? He cannot. Similarly, if our body becomes sick, right? If our body becomes sick or damaged or dysfunctional, we need right kind of raw material. We need right kind of raw material to fix. Probably this is the pancreas, right? Or it could be your thyroid gland. Thyroid has become dysfunctional. It is not able to fix the problem. Why? Because to fix anything, as we said, we need right kind of raw material, which is supposed to come through the kind of food we consume, isn't it? The kind of food we consume. And the kind of food we consume depends upon the kind of food advisors we listen to. Right? Who is our food advisor? Do you have a nutrition coach for yourself, a personal coach? We have a personal tailor, we have a personal stylist, and we have a personal, I mean, everyone, a driver, a cook, everyone. But do we have a personal coach? Right? As I said, we never had. But how do we make these choices about our food? Because there are excellent food advisors that we listen to on a day-to-day basis. For example, one of the greatest food advisor is our Ranveer Singh, or so many other celebrities. He comes on TV and says, "Aaj kuch tufani karenge," and we drink that, right? That cola. Tell me one thing: what is the use of drinking having a soft drink? Which nutrient are you getting? And how does it help you become nourished, well nourished? You know, the pungent or the prickly taste that you experience when having a soft drink, it is because of phosphoric acid. Do you know where phosphoric acid is used? To clean the toilets. That's what we are drinking, right? Albeit in small quantities. Why we are drinking? Because every day he comes on TV and says drinking that is cool. If you are not drinking that, you do not belong, right? You are old school of thought. We don't. I mean, biryani, tastes good with thumbs up or some other kind of soft drink, right? Every time you see and you think that in your mind is so programmed with that. And Amitabh Bachchan ji comes on TV and says, you have to have a sweet before you start something new, right? Kuch meeta karna padta hai, something like that. Okay, and we blindly eat those chocolates. What are they doing to your body? Did we ever give a thought before eating something? We are eating our pizzas, burgers, and sweets and whatnot. So every time somebody comes, I mean, this has become a status symbol these days. If someone comes visiting your house, we just to show off our status or something like that, we come with a tray full of colorful drinks. Red wala, white wala, black wala, orange wala, right? We say that you can choose any kind of poison, become sick and die. That's what we are saying. Okay, if you are offering sweets to someone, that's what I mean. For a festival or something, you are giving to your boss a full packet of sweets, right? What he indirectly means is, "Khao, mar jao, please." So this has become, I mean, we don't know why we are doing certain things the way we are doing, right? So these celebrities, they come on TV, and most of us, it has become so fashionable these days to drink green tea. We don't know why we are drinking green tea. Okay, and the answer we have from our WhatsApp University knowledge is that it contains antioxidants. But the next question, what is an antioxidant? We don't know. I mean, wahi tak pada hai. Right? So antioxidant is not a substance, it is a property of a substance. The name itself, it prevents oxidation. And what is oxidation? Getting rusted. If you leave an iron pipe in open air, it gets rusted in no time. Iron in the iron pipe reacts with oxygen in the air and forms iron oxide. Basic school chemistry. I am not trying to teach you advanced chemistry. Iron reacts with oxygen, forms iron oxide, that is rusting. Right? The same rusting process happens in our body too, which is called annihilation, right? Or destruction. So balance, if creation is Srushti, balance is Sthiti, maintaining the status quo, right? One is being replaced. So dynamic equilibrium. If this is a bone, every day new bone is being formed, old bone is going out. If regeneration and degeneration are in perfect balance, right? Are in perfect balance, your body becomes healthy. If the regeneration is impaired, right? This is automatic process. After expiry, it is gone. But if you are not giving right kind of reinforcements in the form of healthy nutrition, your bones become weak. That's what osteoporosis is. Got it? And the same thing, if this is a muscle, right? If you are not giving right kind of protein and if you are not doing right kind of exercise to keep them intact, strong, taut, right? Toned, that means what happens? So this is going out, but the right kind of protein or the exercise is not coming to maintain this one. And we lose muscle from our body. That means degeneration is more and regeneration is hit. We end up having all the degenerative diseases. These lifestyle diseases, right? All of them are degenerative diseases because of our lifestyle. You are not doing exercise. That means there is no requirement for muscle. and you are not giving right kind of nutrition, there is no right kind of reinforcement in the form of nutrition. So Srishti, Sthiti and destruction or annihilation is called Laya. Okay, these three things, they are happening in our body. Okay, so all these processes makes our human body a wonderful system. But unfortunately, we think our human body is just like any other machine. Okay, our human body is just like any other machine. It goes through depreciation, it goes through rusting process, it gets degenerated with age. Who told you that? It is not. You are not supposed to. You have the ability to keep your body healthy for 120 years without any sickness, provided you follow the natural principles, natural healthy principles. It is quite possible. It doesn't mean that at 40 you have to become menopausal, or at the age of 30 or 35 you are supposed to get gastritis or BP, and by the time you are late 30s you should be getting diabetes. No, there is no rule. It all depends upon the kind of choices we are making with our lifestyle from on day-to-day basis, right? If the body is so intelligent, so knowledgeable, I told you, right? It is renewing itself on a day-to-day basis. Then why we are having this chronic diseases for years? Why they are persisting? So let's talk about two individuals and conclude today's lesson. There are two individuals. One is Apparao and the second one is Baburao. So this Apparao is a very, very, very happy, joyful, bubbly, content, okay, cheerful guy. But this Baburao is bad, mad, sad, depressed, right? Complaining, blaming and all these things. And if you look at him, he is like always grumpy. Now, both are of same height, weight, age, right? And both are having the same work profile, same kind of family structure and all, okay, same kind of issues. But if we give same kind of food, let's say we give a boiled egg, one to Apparao and another boiled egg to Baburao, who do you think will digest that boiled egg completely and get all the nutrients into their body? A or B? Who will digest it better and get absorb all the nutrients into the system? A or B? Okay, we all know the answer is A, Apparao. Why? When you are happy, everything in your body is happy, right? When you are happy, your body becomes lighter, right? So one of the great philosophers in India, ever to born, he said, like, humans, they cannot live in perpetual happiness. They are afraid of happiness. So they choose a particular day to be happy, and they named it as a festival. So most of us choose to live a happy life, or choose to at least pretend that we are happy on a festival day. And if it were a festival day, how do we celebrate our festival? We cook more. So the moment you feel happy, all the cells in your body, all the 100 trillion cells in your body receives a WhatsApp broadcast message. What is that broadcast? Boss is happy. They celebrate. How do they celebrate? Just like how we celebrate a festival by cooking more in our kitchen. The cells, they cook more. That means all the nutrients, they get burned. So all the potential energy becomes kinetic energy and you feel lighter. Okay. So though the body is capable of repairing itself and making itself renewed, unfortunately, because of lack of the understanding of the functioning of the body, we are making certain choices about our food, about whether to do exercise or not, whether to maintain our weight or not, and whether to manage our stress or not, or having a healthy, happy lifestyle or not. These choices are culminating in experiencing or contracting a certain kind of lifestyle disease. So this body, even if you are giving getting all the things right. Okay, what are all the things? Okay, your food is right, and you are doing exercise, you are maintaining your weight, you're managing your stress well, and most importantly, your lifestyle is active, right? Work or anything, you are not sedentary or but if the person who is doing all these things is always grumpy, sad, that means your emotional health, or this is you, right, is equally important as all of them put together. Okay, from time to time, whatever we are thinking, whatever we are thinking about how we are responding to our environment, you as a person is important. So the concept of holistic is, we don't just look at the kind of biochemical parameters that you have, that are existing in your blood as of today. Forget about your HbA1c, random blood sugar, fasting blood sugar, insulin, medications, and for how long you have this. But we are equally important who you are and what kind of emotional profile you are having as of today. Once we understand this, right, you can get maximum mileage out of this particular behavior. So we look into all these aspects where you are falling short, we try to correct them, as well as how you get most out of this by looking into the person. So there is this one great philosopher called Hippocrates. He said, I would rather see what kind of a person has a disease than what kind of a disease a person has, right? He's not bothered about what kind of a disease a person has. But what are all we saying? We are talking about diabetes, we are talking about thyroid, we are managing disease, right? Disease management is not the solution. We have to look into the person who is having. That's the reason why you need a coach, how you are leading your life, how all the parameters in your life are playing out in manifestation of these diseases. So what Hippocrates says is, I would rather see what kind of a person, who are you as a person. Holistic approach or holistic diabetes reversal program is all about looking into the kind of person you are, right? So this is the program, and with this, and that is the reason why Hippocrates is considered as father of medicine. Even Dr. William Osler, a Canadian physician, and he is considered as father of modern medicine, William Osler. And he says something like this: the purpose of a physician is to educate masses, right, general public, to not to use medicine. Okay, you have to use it occasionally, not on a regular basis. Thank you very much for listening to this class, and I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we'll see the story of diabetes, how it is manifested in our system. Thank you.